All right, it's January 22nd. It's time for that new second Shazam trailer. Here we go. Oh, for the love of Shazam, come on! Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. Wonder Woman 1984 is not coming out this year, but it is coming out next year as it was delayed a few months, or many months, rather. And we are starting to learn a little bit more. Now, there's a lot of rumors out there. I'm not going to talk about them because they could potentially be spoilers, and I don't want to spoil it for you. Nor I. So I will not get into that. But we did get something just recently, an interview with Patty Jenkins. And this is what she revealed possibly about Steve Trevor's return. This is not a spoiler, but it's just her thought process about it. And if for a lot of reasons, a lot of us thinks it's just a gimmick, but it's apparently not. This is what she had to say. She said this: I thought of what this next movie should be in the middle of making the first movie. So it wasn't a solution to oh, that worked out, let's try to jam you in there. It's all incredibly important to the story. It makes perfect sense. That's all I can tell you. So at least for that, we know the thought process of Steve Trevor coming back was part of the plot. At least that's what she's saying, that it's been part of that plot of Wonder Woman 1984 for a while now, since the first movie. It's not like how Grace Randolph had said there, oh, Steve Trevor, it was worked really well in the first one. Let's somehow bring him back to the second one because of that chemistry. That could be true, but according to Patty Jenkins, it's not. Apparently, to Patty Jenkins, this was a thought a long time ago, and it's going to make perfect sense, so we'll see how that transpires. But about the 80s, about relying on jokes and gimmicks about the 80s and other movies that were inspired in making things about the 80s, just like the recent Bumblebee movie, for instance. This is what she had to say about utilizing the 1980s. I really felt like the 1980s was mankind at their most extreme and at their best. It was when we could do anything we wanted and we had no idea of the price yet. So we have really committed to that version of the 80s. It's not a bunch of jokes. It's actually the most kind of aspirational and elegant version of the 80s in many places. And then you kind of throw it away and get used to it. I enjoyed rolling around and remembering what it was like when we had no idea it was going to stop. Now, in the full interview, she did say that it's not going to be like there's a needle pin drop and then a joke, kind of like how they kind of did other movies where you have that moment of silence. It pauses for a second to cue in that joke. Apparently it's not going to have that. And it's actually going to be an interesting take. I hope what she says is right. It's going to be where mankind thinks they're at the best, they can do anything, and then it just stops. It's just going to go to hell, if you will. It turns darker. And knowing that this is around the Cold War, it could be actually more of a darker piece than we initially thought it would be, which is good, which is great, because you want to have that drama. And I want to know what kind of story Patty Jenkins wants to really tell. And I sincerely doubt it's going to be that whole Flashpoint thing that Grace Randolph was. But we'll see in due time what's going to happen in this movie and what kind of movie it's going to be. But in any case, Wonder Woman 1984, for people who are really looking forward to the next Wonder Woman outing, it is coming out next year, next June, instead of this November. But it will give it a lot of time to breathe and actually do things, maybe even take out some of those things that maybe the studio had implanted in, like the pause, silence, cue in joke. Maybe we won't have that. Maybe this is the 1984 story that she wanted to tell. Now she has more time to either redo it, re-edit, or things like that. Or maybe this was the plan all along. Who knows? I can't wait to see more footage, a trailer, this San Diego Comic-Con for Wonder Woman 1984. Next up is the movie that is coming out this April, Shazam! Shazam released a new teaser. Now, this I thought was a teaser prelude to the second trailer, which I'll talk a little bit about because it was supposed to have dropped today, supposedly, and it didn't. But the teaser itself is phenomenal. It's fantastic. The shots, the money shots in here are amazing, especially when Billy's jumping off the roof. He yells Shazam, and he turns into Shazam and flies off. That gave me chills. That was like a little bit of that Dark Knight Returns, where Dark Knight's in front of the lightning, or like even Guyver. If you ever seen Guyver 2, the Dark Hero, he runs off the cliff. He goes Guyver, and he turns into the Guyver. That has some of that as well. So I love those transformation types, henshin type of movies like Venom, and I love it that it's here. It's literally like some kind of tokusatsu thing going on where he actually transforms into the superhero and flies off. And a lot of flying this time around. A lot of flying. Lots of great homages to what almost looks like Man of Steel, especially when Dr. Savannah punches him. It looks just like when Superman himself punches Zod towards a building as they have those flight battles. And I heard from like John Aaron, there's a lot more of that in the full trailer, so I can't wait to see that as well. There's a lot of different aspects in there that you can kind of see. One is that, which was pointed out to us by Dave Sandberg, is an actual picture of our first look, kind of, but stone versions of the 7 deadly sins. So that's right there. If we're kind of wondering if people can look into that, which I find compelling that nobody's really looking into it, at least not in the circles that I'm in. But that is indeed our first look. And my God, this is an $80 to $90 million budget. Doesn't it just feel like it's a lot more, or should be a lot more, unless we're getting all the special effects shots right now? But I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty dead serious, there's going to be a lot more they had in this movie. This movie is probably going to surprise us more than most. And it can probably get into a little bit more depth than what it looks like on the surface. As you kind of see, the action looks intense. These very Zack Snyder-y action and flights and visual pieces looks like the comics. I think this will please a lot of people, kids, adults, comic book fans, DCEU fans, Snyder fans. I think that's a great thing. And so this comes out in April, and I can't wait to see it. Now, about that trailer that was supposed to have dropped today, what happened? We know Daniel Reichman, whatever, Daniel RPK. He's this little scooper that likes to put out scoops. Of course, he's been wrong before, and he really was adamant that the trailer was going to come out today, January 22nd. But it didn't. It didn't. And kind of, feel bad, but not feel bad for him at the same time. He really pulled that one out. And even David F. Sandberg had to come out. He actually says that he doesn't know what everybody's talking about. Why is people getting mad at him? So David Sandberg's like, I didn't promise anything. And of course, everybody's like, well, Daniel Reichman did. And he's like, I don't know about him. So, Daniel RPK said that was going to come out January 22nd. He started a Patreon page for people who want to pledge their Patreon to get more scoops, which is kind of interesting for scoopers. I always wonder how they make their money, but this is another way to do it, I guess. But it didn't turn out true, and he really got blasted for it. He really did get blasted out for it. John Aaron actually did say that it was supposed to have come out, but something happened. And yeah, things could happen in the industry that you never put your but that's I guess the lesson here is never put too much faith in these sources. It could go wrong at any time, or it could not be true at all. I have no idea. I'm not in the industry, but it is disappointing knowing that thinking that it was supposed to have come today, but it didn't come out today. For whatever reason, Warner Brothers is holding it back. Are they recutting it? What are they doing with it? Is that why they released that little a short snippet of a teaser, and that was really a TV spot, and then we didn't get an actual full trailer? Who knows? But April's coming up pretty soon, so I don't know what they're waiting for. Are they waiting for a movie to put it on? Who knows? But they are really planning something, I think. They really pulled it and started to change it. Is it going to match Daniel RPK's description of the trailer description that he had put out before? Who knows? But he was right about certain aspects in the trailer description, especially when he turns into Shazam. That part, he was right about that, so we have to give him that. But for the other parts, we're just gonna have to wait and see for the next full Shazam trailer, and I can't wait. But most of all, what is the 7 deadly sins gonna look like? How good or bad the CGI is going to be for that? That's what I'm interested in. Now, a little small tidbit for people who are still interested in the Snyder Cut and Justice League. Remember that Fire Water podcast that we did before? John Aaron did a great transcription piece on DC Films Hub. I'll link that into the description below. He put it out, and what he really cued on it is, and not many people have gotten into it, but he did transcribe the part where the Neil Daly had talked about first of all, Justice League was supposed to open with a history lesson. There was a young dark side there. Ares was there. Green Lantern Corps and things like that had all those aspects of it. He put it on Barrow. And he asked, is this an accurate statement, Zack Snyder, about history lesson, Green Lantern? Zack Snyder did like that, Vero, but then he did ask, what is this? So what can we take away from that? Is he asking, what is this meaning? What do you mean? Like, I don't quite know about those scenes. Or is he saying, where did you get this from? So it's not very clear about that, but he is paying attention to see what that actually means. And that is, just like what John Aaron says, the plot really thickens of this. So hopefully we'll learn a little bit more about what's supposed to be Justice League, the Snyder Cut, for all you listeners who are really, really interested in that. And there are a lot of you. A lot of more blue check marks are wanting to see release the Snyder Cut. Esoteric Jeff, he has like over 44,000 followers. He half likes Batman versus Superman now because of our own buddy Sonny Bunch, but he would actually pay to see the Snyder Justice League cut. And Sonny Bunch, of course, is one of the huge supporter of Sucker Punch and Zack Snyder films. He says Warner Brothers just leaving money on the table. # release the Snyder Cut. Another place, Cinema Blend, actually put out an article that Warner Bros. Should just release the Snyder Cut already. They put out Cinema Blend is a larger blogger than most of the other bloggers, but in any case, it's great to see more these checkmark individuals on Twitter and more blog sites talking about the Snyder Cut of Justice League. It makes you feel like it may just happen. It may just happen. I have a lot of faith and hope that it will, but we just got to keep fighting and keep # release the Snyder Cut. If in any case, Toby Emmerich, come on, man. You just said it's all about the directors, and you just said they're not worried about a shared universe. There's a movie right there, man. Just help put it together and release the Snyder Cut. All right, guys. Thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.